Hello, my name is Ira Smith, President of Ira Smith Trustee and Receiver, Inc. First, the entire Ira Smith Trustee team hopes that you and your family are well, healthy, safe, and secure during this Toronto coronavirus pandemic. Ira Smith Trustee and Receiver, Inc. has been fully operational and continues to be during the emergency shutdown. Both Brandon Smith and myself are available to hold strategy sessions or just to answer any questions you might have. We do so either by email, telephone, or video meeting. Today's Brandon's blog is about how every business coming out of this Toronto coronavirus pandemic is going to need a strategy go-forward plan. Nothing is going to be the same, and everybody is scared. Every entrepreneur is going to need a recovery plan. So, I know you are going to get value from this video. Hang on, I'm just going to get rid of this tie, and I will be right back. Coming out of this Toronto coronavirus pandemic, there was going to be a lot of business insolvencies. Revenues are down or completely shut off, but expenses keep on accruing. Right now, banks, credit card companies, collection agencies are not making a name for themselves by harassing people with overly aggressive collection activity. Whatever collection activity is going on is extremely soft. However, every entrepreneur knows this is not going to last forever. Once we get into whatever the new normal is and the all clear is sounded, collection activity is going to ramp up again. Businesses are going to need fresh capital. Every business is going to need a recovery plan. So this week, Brandon has written about what every entrepreneur should know of what's available to them once this quarantine and state of emergency is over and we are back to whatever normal becomes. We have already seen out of the United States many telltale signs. Many companies have already filed for Chapter 11 insolvency proceedings, mainly the very large retailers. They've done so to try to reorganize their financial obligations while trying to stay in business. Their business problems were not caused by COVID-19. However, the pandemic merely accelerated where they were heading anyways. The American Bankruptcy Institute reported that Chapter 11 filings in April 2020 represents a 26% increase over April of 2019. Brandon has previously written about Modell Sporting Goods and Pier 1. Now we can add new company names that have filed for Chapter 11, such as Neiman Marcus, JCPenney, J. Crew. Outside of the retail sector, Hertz Car Rental, Gold's Gym, Foodora, and Virgin Australia. I believe that it won't be too long before we see the floodgates opening, and there will be an excess of smaller companies looking for relief for their financial problems all over North America and the rest of the world. Toronto will not be immune. Right now, entrepreneurs are doing whatever they can. There's been an uptick in telephone calls from people that are scared. Brandon and I are speaking to many more entrepreneurs about both their personal situation and their company situation. A large uptick in the last 4 weeks. They aren't set to throw in the towel right now, nor should they. They are attempting to do whatever they can to stabilize their company during the shutdown. So now they're trying to take advantage of various federal government programs to keep them afloat. Programs such as the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, the temporary 10% wage subsidy, the Business Credit Availability Program, Canada Emergency Business Account, the Large Employer Emergency Financing Facility, and the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance. Brandon has written about many of these programs over the last couple of months. However, the people we are talking to are also realists. They all understand that if they are trying their best now, but if what they are doing just doesn't work, they will have to either try to restructure the company or have it go bankrupt. So for now, there is somewhat of a pause in remedies. Things like landlord distraint, termination of leases, secured creditor repossessions, and financial institution collection activities and Canada Revenue Agency collection activities seem to be on hold for the most part. But this moratorium won't last forever. The federal government has extended deadlines for filing of income tax returns, for payment of income tax obligations and HST obligations. And they have also extended certain other relief programs. And the extension dates, originally the dates to expire were June 30th, and now they seem to be extending programs up to and including September 30th. So the federal government realizes that businesses still need more time. But ultimately, the patience for non-payment that's being shown right now by landlords and creditors, it will not last forever. I expect business bankruptcy protection and business bankruptcy filings to climb up after the all clear is sounded and the government assistance programs ends. I suspect the Canada Revenue Agency is going to be one of the worst offenders in terms of ramping up collection activity. The federal government is spending trillions of dollars right now trying to keep the Canadian economy afloat. So I'm sure the Canadian government is going to send out the word to Canada Revenue Agency once they are all back working, collect as much money as you can, as quickly as you can. What are the options available to entrepreneurs for a restructuring plan, a strategy for their business coming out of this Toronto coronavirus pandemic? I see the 4 categories. One is companies that are just too small. The owners will merely just try to make sure that staff are paid their salary, wages, vacation pay. They will file their final government return filings and merely turn the key in the door, give the key back to the landlord, and unfortunately walk away. Group are companies that have just a few creditors, not too many, and all or part of the business is still viable. And the owner will try to cut a deal with each of their creditors to pay them something, but much less than they're owed. If this company, this type of company, only has a few small number of creditors, it might work. But if you have a large number of creditors, like the average Canadian business, then it probably won't work. Doing it on your own, informally, won't work for a couple of reasons. First, human nature. Everyone is worried that the next guy is getting a better deal. So by the time you get the last creditor to say yes, the first few have now fallen off the wagon. Or business owners have cut deals without recognizing how much total cash they have to spend in total, and they will have agreed to arrangements that bring them over the amount that they actually have to settle their debts with. The third category of company is those with a large number of creditors that are viable or have aspects of their business that are viable, that will do formal restructuring proceedings, and they will be successful. They will come out the other end streamlined, more efficient, the bad parts of the business cut away with the good parts remaining. Jobs will be preserved and companies will go on. And they will restructure under one of the two Canadian federal restructuring statutes, either the Companies Creditors Arrangement Act for large companies who owe more than $5 million, or under the restructuring provisions of Part 3, Division 1 of the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act, which is good for companies that have less than $5 million in total debt. And Brandon has written about both these statutes in the past. Or if there isn't a secured creditor, or even if there is, but situation is such that a bankruptcy is necessary, then the company will just go into bankruptcy and the licensed insolvency trustee will liquidate the assets. Maybe the asset group can be sold in a way where it will be a business unit and that someone buying it, someone else will be able to put it into their operations and run it profitably and save some jobs in the meantime, or else it will just be piecemeal liquidation. And keep in mind that the assets are not just hard assets, the tangible assets. They can also be intangible assets, patents, trademark, formulas, special licenses, goodwill, customer lists, ongoing customer base. These are all assets as well that can be realized upon. So if you anticipate that your business needs to restructure, but you're just not sure what to do, but you know it has to be done coming out of this pandemic, then the first thing you should do is seek the advice of a professional, either a licensed insolvency trustee or a lawyer specializing in insolvency matters. Most licensed insolvency trustees will provide a no-cost consultation strategy session, and entrepreneurs should take advantage of it. Because as part of the overall strategy session, you will not just talk about your company. The licensed insolvency trustee will also delve into other areas, such as, has anyone given a personal guarantee on a loan or an indemnity on a premises lease? Or are there any liabilities out there that are also director liabilities, such as unpaid salary, wages, vacation pay, collected and unremitted HST, or unremitted source deductions? So for the entrepreneur, you have to look at both your business situation and your personal situation in order to come up with the best restructuring strategy possible. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Read the full blog for full details. Just know that both Brandon Smith and myself are available to answer any questions that you might have. Shoot us a message, give us a phone call. We can have a video meeting with you. We would be delighted to. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay secure.